Get started here. Give a few seconds for people to settle down. All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 8th, 2026 meeting of the Sacramento Regional Transit Board of Directors. Tabitha, would you please take the roll?
Director Brewer is absent. Director Budge?
Here.
Director Dickinson is absent. Director Hume?
Here.
Director Jennings?
Here.
Director Kennedy?
Here.
Director Maple?
I am here.
Director Rorba?
Here.
Director Schaefer?
Here.
Director Cerna?
Here.
And Chair Singh Allen.
Here.
With that, we have a quorum of 9 votes, and this meeting of the Sacramento Regional Transit District is recorded with closed captioning. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV UVerse cable systems. The recording will also be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Saturday, June 13th at 1:30 p.m. and Sunday, June 14th at 2 p.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/MetroCable14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker card located at the rear of the room and provide it to myself or Adam. Once the item has been called, additional speaker cards will not be accepted. The time allowed for public comment is at the chair's discretion. The timer will chime when you have 20 seconds and then again when your time is up. Written public comment was received from Barbara Stanton, Ridership for the Masses, on item 2.12. They do not support the elimination of Bus Route 33. From Linda McKenna, Bridgeway Towers Owners Association, on item 4.1 with several questions regarding the budget. And a comment from Ronnie Miranda on Bus Route 13. And these comments have all been provided to the board.
Thank you, and if the record can also reflect that Director Dickinson is here. And is that we have this gentleman needs some assistance on filling out a speaker card, if you can help with that.
I got it.
Okay, you got it. All right, next up is our Pledge of Allegiance. Director Jennings, would you please lead us?
Pleasure. If you're able, would you please stand? Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just a quick note that staff would like to pull consent calendar item 2.13 off the agenda. It will be brought back to the board at a later date. With that, next up is our consent calendar items 2.1 through 2.18 minus 2.13. Any questions or comments from directors looking to the right? Yes, Director Dickinson.
Can we just have a little discussion of 2.12 here?
Certainly. We'll start with that, without objection. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll read the item into the record. Resolution 2026060076, approving a Title VI service equity analysis and adopting service changes to eliminate Route 33 and create Route 133 for August 2026.
I know we had a comment on this from Ridership for the Masses from Barbara, and so maybe the staff can just talk about how ending this service dovetails with beginning service at the Dos Rios light rail stop, and how there's not a loss of mobility as a result of this change. So whoever is the right person. Okay.
Hi, I'm Laura Ham, Senior Vice President of Planning, Grants, and Procurement. Regarding this item 2.12, Route 33 has provided connectivity primarily for residents of Maris Hall Village to the nearest available light rail station at Alkali Flat during the time that Dos Rios has been under construction. As was presented to the board when the Dos Rios project was approved, the long-term plan was the elimination of Route 33, which is largely duplicative of the Dos Rios light rail station once it opened. So it is not scheduled to end service until after the opening of the Dos Rios light rail station. In addition to that, the light rail will provide some service enhancements for the residents in the area, including later evening service, weekend service and holiday service that the Route 33 does not provide today.
So this service really goes back to Ray Trethaway and trying to establish service long before actually anyone thought there might be a Dos Rios station. So you mentioned that it serves Marisol Village, but it goes actually a little further west than that, does it not?
Yes, it does. And as part of the proposal, we are preserving one AM trip and renaming the service Route 133 to specifically serve the opening of the Union Gospel Mission.
I think the concern may be that those who are at the western tip of where this service has been will now have a multi-block walk to the Dos Rios station. I mean, I infer from
Recording in progress.
Okay, I'll start over. I infer from Barbara's comments that that's maybe the heart of the concern. So what changes in that regard in terms of length of walk and intervals of service? I mean, how does this really replace, how does the new service with the stop at the Dos Rios station really replace the 33 effectively?
I have our planning staff in the audience if we want to provide just a little bit more detail on the length of the walk compared to the Route 33.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, members of the board. James Drake, Senior Manager of Service Planning. And yeah, depending on where one resides in Marisol Village, the walk's going to be variable. I mean, if you're at the east edge, it's basically across the street. If you're at the northwest corner of Marisol Village, you know, Dos Rios and Richards Boulevard, that's about kind of the farthest distance. And I don't have it in front of me, but I'd say that's probably a little over 1,000 feet walk.
Didn't 33 though actually goes a little further west, doesn't it?
So Route 33 has one trip in the morning and one trip in the afternoon that goes off the normal route.
Just the one.
All the way over to Union Gospel Mission. And it's just one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And that's the trip that Laura mentioned is actually going to be preserved.
Yeah, I understand the AM trip
Yeah.
will be preserved. But Dos Rios has been as far west as the 33 has gone over the
Yeah, Dos Rios is the kind of the western boundary of it. Yeah, okay. Dos Rios Street.
Okay, so about a 2.5 block walk.
Thereabouts.
Those at say Dos Rios and the Boulevard.
Yeah, and Richards Boulevard.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Thank you.
Any other directors with questions? Looking to my left. Seeing none. Public comments?
Okay, we have Helen O'Connell, 2.2, 2.3.
You ask Helen to speak all on this one? Just two?
Hello.
Or many more?
I would like
I'm sorry,
to,
Helen. Can you speak on all of your consent calendar items
I can
in
try.
one? Okay.
I would like to make a supportive statement. Sometimes people think I don't recognize things, so I'm here to do that. I think the Transit Pass program is very important for the university students and the employees so that they can manage to afford to go to the university. I'm glad to see that RT is still going to reinstate the agreement as they amended it. 2.3. Second Amendment. Okay, the environmental legal support for the downtown Riverfront streetcar project. I know that it's taken a long time to get the riverfront streetcar project up and running, but I would like to know how many environmental things did we have to do over and over for this downtown streetcar? It seems to have had to do a whole bunch. I got 2.6. I don't really understand what the Title III Administrative Code for the Sacramento Regional Transit District Board rules and procedures is about. I couldn't really figure it out, and I think that the rules and procedures of all of our T stuff should be followed and not negated by filing things late and making it an emergency to where the procedures and the protocol aren't being followed. Next one, I'm going to skip to 2.8. The Los Rios Light Rail Station has gone through a lot of different amendments and changes for the construction. Did we not do something right the first time that we have to do things over and over again? All of these kinds of things take up extra money just because somebody didn't dot their I's and cross their T's and check the small print before they got started. I am in support of the fair equivalent and approving the transfer agreement with the Capital Corridor Joint Powers of Attorney Authority. I'm sorry. I think that would be a really good deal. Item 12, 2.12, there is not just the issue of canceling a route, but the route serves an underserved part of the public, and it is very difficult for people that are home challenged to be able to get two services. The Union Gospel Mission is way far away from where they need to go to get services, and limiting it to once a day, they have to be out of there by 6 o'clock, but they have to be back by 6 o'clock at night too. So how do they do that if the bus doesn't run both ways? Just a comment. And we only got 2 responses to the survey kind of thing. They asked for responses, and according to my friend Barbara, there were only 2, and one of them was an RT employee. So that shows me that it may not have gotten out to the people that are really being affected by the change. Okay, I'm a proponent of 2.13, supplemental paratransit service, and we're pulling that, so we'll see that when it comes back. 2.16 is executing student transit pass. I am very supportive of that decision, that we don't scrap that, because if you are a young person and you hop the train just because it's closer, and you don't have fare, you're liable to get into that young people in the corrective system, and then they can never really get out of that revolving door. So I'm very supportive that you have chosen to continue that service. I'm also, yeah, that's it. That would be the 17. Let's see. Oh, 17. I had a question on 217. Are these amendments the contract changes on number 37 and 38? I'm not sure how many other things have been upgraded, rethought, redesigned. Again, are we using our money, which is limited, to the fullest extent, or are we buying things, figuring out that it's not working, and have to redo it? Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public comment?
And next, we have Rick Hodgkins. And Rick, if you can just do the same. You have 2.5, 2.12, and 2.13.
Okay, 2.5, I can't remember what that one, because I just know the numbers, but I am, and I also have 2.12. I am also very concerned if we eliminate, even if bus 133 serves the Dos Rios and Richards Township 9 stations, does it also serve, will it continue to serve loaves and fishes? Because I've taken the 33 to loaves and fishes on occasion, even though I did it years ago. I hope that it'll still serve loaves and fishes. 2.1, I would highly recommend that when it comes to the Capitol Corridor that we have buses that are much more comfortable for going to and from Tahoe, as well as more than just one a day, because there are multiple Capitol Corridor trains a day. And also the Transit Watch app or the Alert SAC-RT app. I love that app. I've had it for almost 2 years now. I would like to be able to change I would like to be able to use the train alert sound rather than two or three bongs. And finally, I'm glad 2.13 is being pulled off the agenda. I am against going with via transit, knowing the complaints Jeff, Tom, and I heard about it. So thank you.
Thank you. Someone's retrieving a microphone. With that, we'll go on to our next public comment.
That's all the public comment on the consent calendar.
All right, thank you. Were there any additional comments from directors? Looking to the left, and seeing none. None to the right. Thank you. With that, I will look for a motion to pass consent.
I'll move the consent calendar, realizing that
2.3.
2.13 has been pulled.
Second. Okay, we have a second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Seeing no opposition, all right. Our next item, please.
The next item, 3.1, customer service response to feedback and comments. Lisa Hines and Blanca Arahu are here to present this item.
We're testing out a new teleprompter today, so we can actually look up while we're presenting. So bear with me as we get started here. Chair Singh Allen, members of the board, I am Lisa Hines, Vice President of Security, Safety, and Customer Satisfaction. I am presenting customer satisfaction responses to public concerns and comments. Our first public comment: how can display message signs be standardized, and could the multi-display format used in Vehicle 1582 be adopted for light rail? Our IT department is actively working on a train and station refresh project that will standardize station and vehicle signage with real-time information. As part of the project, we are going to replace all the legacy digital station signs with modern digital signage so that they are all consistent in color, lines, and display real-time train arrival information. The board approved this project at the March board meeting. Next, public comment. What actions are SAC-RT taking to address traffic congestion in the region? The best way to combat regional traffic congestion is to get people on transit. One bus can take away 50 vehicles. One light rail train can take away 120 cars off the road. With additional dedicated funding, local funding for SAC-RT, we can deliver more services, have faster connections, and mobility choices that take cars off the road and ease traffic congestion. Next, public comment. Does the CEO authority to execute project agreements for the Midtown Sacramento Station project shift construction decisions to the CEO? And how will stakeholders be informed before approval? The item the board previously approved was a construction project agreement with the San Joaquin Regional Rail for their expansion of the Gold Runner service into Sacramento. They are constructing a new Midtown station at the tracks between 19th and 20th Streets. SAC-RT is granting them easements to allow pedestrian access across SAC-RT property to enter the new station's southern entrance plaza. The project agreement is to ensure that SAC-RT light rail operations are not disrupted during the construction of the new passenger rail station. Next, public comment. Are the Siemens fleet monitoring, sole source procurement, and the capital budget amendment included in the city and county budgets? SAC-RT is not incurring any cost. Costs are being covered by the State Transit Assistance Funds, STA funds, and no, these are not in the city or county of Sacramento budgets. Next, public comment. What plans exist for the Swanston station, including potential hotel, affordable housing, and parking uses? With the announcement of return to office for the state employees in July, SAC-RT will be monitoring the usage of our park and rides. On June 1st, Director Dickinson convened a meeting with city staff and a number of affordable housing developers to discuss the future vision for both the Swanston and Marconi park and ride stations, as well as adjacent city property. We hope to see additional housing built on both sites in the near future. Next, public comment. Please provide a report from the SAC-RT Go Open House. The SAC-RT Go Open House brought together more than 70 riders, advocates, community members, and stakeholders to provide direct feedback to the SAC-RT Go services. Staff collected and reviewed all comments and questions, and the key themes including reliability, customer service, accessibility, reservations, and communication. Feedback from both the Open House and the SAC-RT Go website is being evaluated, and departments are developing action plans focused on operational, training, communication, and process improvements. Staff will continue to prioritize opportunities to enhance the customer experience and support the long-term success of the SAC-RT Go program. Next, public comment. How is SAC-RT addressing concerns about limited bike and wheelchair space on the new light rail vehicles? We have recently launched a subcommittee to review our current policies on bicycles, strollers, and wagon usage on SAC-RT trains and buses. We will be looking at peer agencies, all data points, and then we will share with the community our thoughts to get feedback before any updates to the policies are made. So more to come on that. I wanted to provide a quick update. There was a question about bringing SAC PD back. Sacramento no longer contracts with the Sacramento Police Department for police services as they had staffing issues and elected to cancel the contract with us. We have solely contracted with the Sacramento Sheriff's Department since January 11th of this year. I am very happy with the level of service that we are receiving from them. With the goal of improving safety and security of our riders, the Sheriff's Department has focused on supporting employees, including transit ambassadors as well. To date, the Sheriff's Department has made just at 200 arrests in that short time frame. 3 days after they took over the contract, they arrested our prolific copper thief. So kudos to them, and I'm very appreciative of and thankful for their service. Additionally, they have arrested and identified fair vending machine vandals, and they've conducted 29 investigations in that short time and made arrests on every investigation. They are making a difference in our safety and security, and I see it, and I hope we all see it. There's a private, okay, let's see. And then the next update is our transit ambassador update. I wanted to also take the opportunity to provide a quick update. We had 2 open houses for the TAs, and they were very heavily attended. One of them had 90 people attend. We had 700 people apply for our recent transit ambassador job posting. We split that in half and interviewed the qualified candidates. So I just helped, and we wrapped up interviewing 70 people from that first group. 38 of the people were selected to move forward through the process. The common theme throughout the interviews were that the candidates were very happy to get an opportunity to get a career position with SAC-RT. They respected our agency and the opportunity to have career growth. We currently to date have 45 transit ambassadors. The next 3-month Transit Academy for transit ambassadors will be July 16th, and we plan to hire 15 new TAs to reach a staff level of 60. We're authorized 50, and we have 10 backup positions that are also authorized. So we will hire to 60 with our goal of staying at 50 or above. The TA's presence on the trains is having a positive effect on the riders' perception of safety and security. A rider shared this feedback via Alert SAC-RT. If you guys will recall, I mentioned that I put on the trains, Alert SAC-RT, please tell us how our transit ambassadors are doing. And this is one of the feedbacks that I'd like to share. Ambassador Dodson is credited to the, a writer shared the feedback via Alert SAC-RT. Ambassador Dodson is a credit to the ambassadors. He is always friendly and has a great personality. What a great way to start the day. Train 421B. That concludes my presentation, and now I'll turn it over to Blanca Arrojo for an update on SAC-RT Go service.
Okay, good evening, Chair Singh Allen and members of the board. I wanted to provide a brief update on the SAC-RT Go supplemental service procurement. This has been a lengthy process that staff has been working on since August of 2025. This procurement was not developed in isolation. Before the RFP was released, we spent time gathering feedback from riders and shared the proposed scope of work with the Mobility Advisory Committee for their review and input. The Mobility Advisory Committee reviewed the proposed requirements and provided recommendations based on concerns they hear directly from riders and their own experiences using the service. In addition, SAC-RT considered feedback received through customer complaints, comments raised during the board meetings, MAC meetings, rider outreach efforts, and input from our operational team. Together, this feedback helped shape the final scope of work. We took that feedback seriously. Several recommendations from the MAC members were incorporated into the final scope of work, particularly in areas related to ADA service expectations, door-to-door assistance, service, animal awareness, driver qualifications, vehicle identification, passenger safety, and customer service. Those concerns helped shape the requirements, including in the procurement. Our goal was to establish clear expectations that any future contractor will be required to meet. By incorporating these requirements into the contract, we created accountability. These expectations are no longer just recommendations or best practices. They become contractual requirements that the selected provider must meet. This procurement reflects years of feedback from riders, advocates, MAC members, board discussions, customer complaints, and staff experiences. That feedback helped shape the service requirement before a single proposal was ever submitted. Once the RFP was released, our ability to discuss details became more limited. Procurement rules require a fair and impartial process and to protect the integrity of the evaluation. While we continue providing updates on the process itself, we could not discuss proposed details, scoring, or evaluations until the procurement was complete. 6 proposals were received and evaluated throughout a competitive process that included written proposals and oral interviews. The highest ranked proposer was identified using the established evaluation criteria. More recently, we received requests for additional information from members of the community regarding accessibility, training, share rights, and the transition plan. To allow additional outreach and discussion, as you saw, we recommended removing the item from the board agenda and returning to the MAC for a more detailed presentation and request a presentation and question and answer session. Ultimately, this procurement reflects the voices of our riders we serve, and the feedback we receive helps shape the requirements, strengthen accountability, and ensure that those expectations are built directly into the contract. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, let's see. At this time, I would like to announce that we will be opening the public hearing. Tabitha, would you please read the item?
I'm sorry, we did have public comment on the customer service item.
Okay, you don't have it on here.
Oh. Helen O'Connell, 3.1.
As far as it pertains, the report pertains to the RTGO update supplementary service. I am very glad that the RT staff has taken our requests from the public very seriously and have are going to bring it to the Mobility Advisory Council on June 18th to get a more in-depth, detailed description of what's going to be included and not included. I'm glad that it was not given to the board and then brought to the MAC board. That would have put it out of the protocol, procedure, and policy order. I'm glad that this item has been done in the correct order. Thank you.
Okay, that's all the public comment.
So just a general question for this item, for this agenda item, this is where staff is reporting out on comments received from the public. If we're going to allow public comments on public comments, if you can denote that. But
Yes.
It's my understanding that we don't, because there's precedence-wise. It's fine that we do, but if we are, just let us know.
Okay, I'll add it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
All right, at this time, we will be opening the public hearing. Tabitha, would you please read the item?
4.1, public hearing and adoption of the fiscal year 2027 operating and capital budgets. We will accept public comment, and then Resolution 2026-06086, adopt FY 2027 operating and capital budgets. And Jason Johnson is available for any questions.
All right, are there questions from my director colleagues here? Looking to the right, Director Dickinson,
Thanks, Chair.
our historian.
Well, I'm going to avoid history, hopefully, here. I did have a small bit of history, though, that I think I recalled from the last meeting, which was when we looked at this before. I thought I had asked if we could see the projected actuals for FY26, and I didn't spot those. Were those somewhere included in the material?
They were not included at this time. We're still in the process of doing year-end cleanup, and there's a lot of moving parts that are associated with that. We did review the overall budget. We're still within 1% of budget to actuals at this point, so it didn't trigger any other need for additional actions at this time.
Okay, I mean, I understand you wouldn't have your finals. Obviously, you can't have those until the budget year closes out. So it really is a projection. But if I understood what you said, within each of the both revenue and expense categories, the expenses as projected for FY26 are running within 1% of the 26 budget?
Correct. Both revenues and expenditures. So expenditures are within 1%, and then we have additional revenues to cover any overage within that 1% range as well at this time.
I would consider that pretty remarkable. Either you're astonishingly good at budgeting, or you're cooking the books to make sure you're within 1%. I'm not sure.
We'll go with option one.
I'm not surprised.
Director Dickinson, in last 10 years, very much we met the budget. We actually always below the budget a little bit in last 10 years. So we did indeed very good stuff, did a very good job.
Apparently. Well, when we see your finals, the truth will be revealed, huh? I think that was it. I was just looking at the capital budget, but I think that was something else that didn't pertain to this evening. So, thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Any other directors with questions? Looking to the left here. Seeing none. Public comment?
Okay, we have Troy Wilkinson, and then Helen O'Connell, and then Rick Hodgkins.
Hello, Board. My name is Troy Wilkinson. Thank you for listening to public comments. I wanted to comment on the budget. We've had some discussion. I'm part of Strong Sacktown and also part of the transit team for them. We often wonder, with relation to future comments, probably to follow, about strict fare enforcement and also just fare in general for this system. I believe, looking at the previous meeting's budget presentation, it was around like 20 million per year. I could be wrong, but something like 7% of the budget. I'm very curious, especially when a lot of fare enforcement results in a lot of uncomfortable situations, a lot of inaccessibility for people for the system, whether or not it needs or warrants any hard thoughts about whether or not it makes sense to employ 45 to 60 transit ambassadors and all sorts of management and maintenance on kiosks and other stuff that we currently don't have. It's a lot of these stations don't currently have kiosks for purchasing fare. We're about to switch apps, which I'm sure that costs money to manage. And we still charge people quite a bit of money, which does that really balance out? Are we making money on the fares when we employ so many people to collect them? And it's just food for thought, but I think a lot of us don't quite see the mathing for charging $250 a trip. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public comment.
Next, we have Rick Hodgkins, and Helen's comment was for 5, not 4.
Rick Hodgkins again. I realize that this is going to sound redundant. For those of you who have been on the board for a while, you've heard me say it before, but for those of you new and or returning board members, in the case of board member, Councilmember Dickinson, I would like to say again, and I hate to offend some people about this, but that we've been told time and again by residents of Sacramento County that we will not fund RT any more than it already is, than unless we tackle the homeless issue. And with that said, I've come to the conclusion that it's just not only is it just RT's responsibility to deal with the homeless issue, it is also the responsibility of the California Apartment Association. I don't know about you, but I have a bone to pick with the Apartment Association. They've gotten away with things for 30 plus years, since 1995, when the Costa-Hawkins Rental Housing Act was implemented. And again, once again, county residents have told RT, quote, "We do not and will not fund RT any more than it already is funded unless we deal with the homeless issue first." Thank you.
Thank you. Was that the final public comment?
That's the final public comment.
Okay, thank you. Any follow-up director comments? Seeing none? Chair. Yes, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Thank you. No, very efficient. And I know that we've had several discussions on the budget over the last several months, so I don't want to go into detail, but I just want to say that, you know, being on the SACOG board, being on RT, on STA, all of these transit and or transportation related agencies, where there's a lot of discussion happening all the time about fiscal cliffs and how difficult it is right now for transit agencies. And so I just want to point out that we're really overperforming here in Sacramento, and I think that's important to note, but it also means that we're not immune. We are looking towards a cliff just like everyone else, though we've made great strides in ensuring that we're not there yet. And we're going to continue to do that, everything that we can. But it is a challenge for us, and we're going to have to figure out what that looks like. And I know there's a lot of other things, you know, out in the atmosphere, whether it be a possible transit measure in the city of Sacramento and so on. But I just really want to thank you, General Manager, and the staff for all the work on this and the work that you do all the time to make sure that we're in the fiscal place that we're in right now. And so with that, I'm going to be happy to close the hearing and move the budget, if that's okay with you, Chair.
Thank you, and thank you for your very thoughtful comments. We have a motion on the floor. Can I get a second? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, abstentions, seeing none? All right, we will move on to our next item.
The next item, number 5, public addresses board on matters not on the agenda. And we have Helen O'Connell, and then Maddie, Austin Kelly, Kay Crum, and a few others, but we'll start with Helen.
Hello. Sorry I'm on here all the day, but, you know, somebody's got to do it. My public comment has to do with following procedure, protocol, and policy, and not sidestepping each one to make things go faster. In my opinion, and I've been around RT since 1974, this is a habitual problem. If RT is having difficulty getting something the way that they perceive it needs to be done, they declare an emergency, or they bury stuff in the back of a report somewhere, and T's don't get crossed, I's don't get dotted, and that creates a problem later down the road, and then we have to rework it, and it takes forever to get things done. So I am hoping that RT will try to follow the protocol, procedure, and policies that are already in place. They just need to be followed more closely, especially the ADA Act. Thank you.
Maddie Parfit.
Hi, my name is Maddie Parfit, and I'm a member of Strong Sacktown's transit team. I had an experience a while back with a bus driver, and I thought it was just a random misunderstanding, but now I'm not so sure. I had taken my empty folded shopping cart on the bus to go to the grocery store. And when I came back to the bus stop to get on the bus with my cart filled with groceries, the driver told me, "You can't get on, you have to take all your bags out, fold your cart, carry everything on, and sit with the bags on your lap and hold the folded cart in front of you." I went around and around with her for a few minutes. She kept saying, "That's the rule, that's the rule." Eventually, she did let me get on with my full cart. But recently, I've heard of several other instances of this sort of thing happening, with passengers being told they could not get on a bus with a cart full of groceries, they could not get on a train with a shopping cart. I discovered that RT does indeed have a rule requiring shopping carts to be empty and folded on buses and trains. But if you look around, it's not teenagers who are using shopping carts. It's older people and it's people with disabilities who have no other way to get their shopping done except to take their cart on the bus and train. They're the kinds of people who can't carry armloads of heavy bags, then balance them on their laps while holding a folded cart in front of them. I don't know why RT is now enforcing this old rule, which seems aimed at those who are most in need of public transportation. I've never heard other passengers complain when they see someone using a cart. In fact, I've seen passengers help those with heavy carts get on and off the bus. So it's time for RT to rescind this cruel and discriminating rule. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public comment.
Austin Kelly.
Can you please bring the microphone?
Can we get a microphone?
It's okay.
Dear members of the board, my name is Austin Kelly, and I've been a resident of Sacramento since 2022. A recent policy change has required transit ambassadors to be pushed into more of a fair enforcement role, writing citations that neither they nor the public have access to the repercussions of. It is my understanding that this first citation issued by SAC-RT to a passenger comes with $160 of fine, but I've been unable to actually confirm this, as this information is not easily accessible. What I do know, however, is fare evasion is considered a misdemeanor after 3 or more instances in the state of California, according to Penal Code 640. A passenger is liable to either pay a fine up to $400, spend up to 90 days in the county jail, or both. The Sacramento Bee reported that in 2018, a single day in jail cost the county $126. Considering only inflation, Sacramento County is spending close to $15,000 per $7.50 lost to fare evasion. A financial disaster for both the affected passenger and our local government. While I understand that the system depends on fare as a necessary revenue stream, the proposed budget for 2027 only projects 7.2% of revenues coming from fare collection. My ask is for this board to suspend no exception fare inspection, make citation and fare enforcement information readily available to the public, and allow transit ambassadors to do their jobs with confidence. RT's transit ambassadors are far more valuable to the system in offering their understanding and compassion over their roles as strictly fare enforcers. Allowing them to shine above the intolerable nature of 100% enforcement will make riding SAC-RT a more enjoyable experience for everyone. Thank you.
Next public comment.
Kay Crum, and then Rick Hodgkins.
Hello, my name is Kay Crum, and I'm a member of Strong Sacktown, and this is my Connect card, and I love it. And I'm very concerned about the plans to phase out the physical card in favor of an app for many reasons, but I'm just going to touch on my personal concerns. The first and the most obvious problem is that if your phone dies, or you lose your phone, or you leave it at home, you won't have your fare anymore. And I'm not sure about everyone else here, but my phone has died many times at work, and the last thing I want to be worrying about is how am I going to get home now? The second problem is once you pulled out your phone to do something legitimate like pay fare or look at a menu, we often continue to scroll on our phone afterwards because they're designed to be highly addictive, so why wouldn't we? I agree that there is value to having digital fare as an option, but if SAC-RT discontinues the physical Connect card, the app becomes almost mandatory. You'll force customers to pull out our phones and disconnect from the real world, and every time we remove something physical in favor of an app, we signal that we value the digital over human connection. Over the past several years, I've set some very healthy boundaries and disconnect every Saturday, and this means that I don't use or carry my phone all day. Since I get a monthly pass from my employer on my physical Connect card, this is easy for me to do. This practice has been so positive for my mental health, and I'm afraid that if the physical Connect cards are phased out, I'll have to either choose to break this helpful boundary or decide that I'm not going anywhere that I want on Saturday. I'm not suggesting that we eliminate the app, but here's a solution. Put Connect card readers on light rails to take care of the vandalism problem. This is what we have on buses already, and customers should be familiar with that system. This is a way to connect with other riders when I'm not on transit. In a world where people are craving more analog systems in their life, let's give people an option to keep carrying their Connect cards. And let's carry these proudly and make our Connect cards a badge of pride. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public comment.
We have Rick Hodgkins and then Dan Allison.
Thank you. I'd like to piggyback off of what was said about the Connect card. I would ask that we never discontinue the single fare, the Connect card, the physical Connect card, because just a digital connection is not good enough, not only for the reasons stated, but also because if the minute you pull out your phone or the second that you pull out your phone, there's going to be a homeless person, hey, say, gimme, can I use your phone? Can I use your phone? And just telling them no is not good enough because they could snatch it and rob you blind. I found out at last month's MAC meeting that we will not be allowed to put any fare Connect card machines or app readers on the trains, just like the transit systems in San Francisco and the rest of the Bay Area. For reasons I cannot remember, and even if I knew them, I'm not going to go into them right now. If the staff want to talk about that when it's their turn, so be it. But I was told that we're not able to put readers on the machines. I'm just worried about the homeless issue. And again, how can we address the homeless issue? Again, I don't think it has to do just with RT. I think we all need to have a little bone to pick with the California Apartment Association. Furthermore, there is an empty retail space that used to be the Cyber Cafe at the Matherfield Light Rail Station. What are we going to be doing about that? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Allison?
Dan Allison, representing myself today. A brief comment about the Connect card. Most transit systems have solved the card issue by pushing the idea of putting cash onto bank cards for people who are unbanked and do not have cell phones. Works fine for those transit systems. SAC-RT has chosen not to do that. I don't know why, but it could be a good replacement for Connect card. My main comment relates to the ambassadors and the tension that's being created on light rail by enforcement first policies. I have seen several ambassadors escalate situations with passengers, making them worse than they were, leading to calling for law enforcement when that was not necessary. And I can tell you, average passengers are feeling that tension. They are not more comfortable with ambassadors now because of SAC-RT's enforcement first policy. It's really causing a problem. Originally, there was a service orientation. Now there's a law enforcement orientation. And as Ms. Hinn said, we're not changing the policy until we've studied it, even though she is quite aware of the problems being created. She's stonewalling. I think the policy needs to be suspended until the study is done. It is not making anybody happy. Sure, there are problems on light rail. There are behavior problems. There are sometimes people with strollers and shopping carts in the disabled area and willing to give up that space. I recognize that there are problems. The solution is to talk to people and try to solve those problems. Thank you.
Thank you. More public comments?
We have Lisa Lee and then Jeffrey Tartagia and Troy Wilkinson.
Hello, Board. My name is Elisa Lee. I work with the 50 Corridor Transportation Management Association. Our mission is to help people drive less and make it easy for them to take transit, walk, or bike more. We run a free transit fare program for residents in Sacramento, in the Sacramento region, including in Folsom, Rancho Cordova, and Vineyard. And in the last 2 years, we've given out $5,000 in transit fare by issuing preloaded Connect cards to help more people ride transit. And furthermore, we work with workplaces, including several state agencies, to support their employees to take transit, many of whom are issued Connect cards for their transit subsidy. At this point, we hear almost daily from these would-be transit riders that SAC-RT is failing to take our money because your Connect card readers aren't working. Several riders actually have waited or have walked away from taking RT and end up driving instead. We've talked to RT customer service multiple times about this, and we understand that the Connect cards are being phased out in the next year. But in the meantime, you are making this a hard process for riders. You are not collecting their fares, your revenue, and you're not giving them a good experience. Many of the transit ambassadors don't know how to instruct riders about what to do when their card doesn't scan. Sometimes the transit ambassador tells the riders they have to go and purchase a daily pass. The response is inconsistent, and when staff are not uniformly trained and informed about this, it impacts the rider negatively. Just imagine you're a brand new rider trying to take public transit for the first time. You get your Connect card, you've loaded it, the reader doesn't work, and you board the train, and when you're on, the transit ambassador asks to see your fare. Sometimes the balance will say pending if you haven't tapped it successfully yet, but it doesn't seem the transit ambassador would know that, and they tell you haven't paid and ask you to deboard, and now you feel like you're doing something wrong. And when this happens, people don't want to try taking transit again. They end up choosing to drive instead. I do want to say, if I could take a bit more time, we've talked to RT customer service about this. We haven't gotten an answer about how you plan to transition the Connect card corporate account holder system to Transit Connect. And as a TMA, we're putting a lot of money and effort into sending riders and revenue your way. So we'd love for you to follow up with our organization about this. Thank you.
Jeffrey Tartagia.
Jeffrey Tartagia. I hope you're hearing me. I've seen a lot of good things happening and going in one way or the other. But more than a year ago, I asked that you need to review your policies because you have policies and procedures that have not been reviewed in some time, and you've got new things in there. I haven't seen a committee yet formed to address this object, and you go after budget after budget, and your objectives do not seem to be handled any better and any more in a correct manner to see. You're offering solutions, but as this is a problem that you've known about dealing with the Connect card, and you've dealing with a number of other new systems. I next expect something's going to be going on with the Flex system in attempting same-day service. Board, you need to look at this in a more critical eye and not just leave it to staff of what needs to be formed here. I still think you need to develop a revenue service that is RT's effective use for the purpose of public transportation. And you share a lot of things, and it doesn't mean, you know year by year what effect that has on your degree of service and your projects. That's my public comment, and still interested in listening to you guys, although right now I shake my head a little bit about what you perceive as succeeding. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and welcome back. Next public comment?
Troy Wilkinson.
Hello again. I'd just like to share a personal story to illustrate some of the frustrations that are happening. Austin was talking about citation amounts. I can confirm it's $157 because of this one right here, which doesn't actually say on the citation that it's $157. So I was at Central Parkway Station trying to get on the train with my bike. The train comes in. I really want to get on this train. It's there. Unfortunately, my phone doesn't have data. I don't know why the 3 GB is actually 1.5 GB, but that's what happened that day. The moment I get on, the Transit Connect app does not allow me to log in. Why? Because I don't have data. Because of this, the person who I already had seen being an enforcement officer at this point, they're not transit ambassadors at this point, comes to me and asks for fare. I say, oh yeah, don't have data. I really would love to pay. I always pay. I had my Safer Sac Streets shirt on. I'm ready to be a supportive person and pay fare. Unfortunately, that's not how it works anymore. Zero tolerance, she says. So I give her my ID, I get cited. Great. I can't get off at the next stop. Why? There's no kiosks. If I got on at the next station, how is anyone able to pay? There's no kiosks. If there was a kiosk on the train, I could have paid. Avoided paying $155 more than the fare. I can handle something like this. Many people cannot. I was not in a rush to get anywhere. Some people will be. So these are the types of things I think a solution at this point is suspend this no exceptions nature that's really making for an unhappy system until we have kiosks and the ability to pay everywhere. Thank you.
Next public comment.
That's all the public comment.
Okay, I look forward to seeing some responses from the comments we've heard this evening. With that, we'll move to our next item. Tabitha?
Next item, 6, new business. There is a correction to the staff report for item 6.1. It is noted that the tax will be on the last $8,000 contributed to the 457, but it should be the last $11,250. And the item 6.1, resolution 2026-06087, approval of the fiscal year 2026 annual performance evaluation for the general manager, CEO Henry Lee, and the 7th amendment to his contract to comply with the new IRS tax changes. And Shelley Valentin is available for any questions.
All right, thank you for that and the clarification. Were there any questions from directors? Seeing none, public comment?
We have one public comment, Helen O'Connell. Oh, I don't have. Rick, did you have a comment as well? Yes, I did. Okay.
That's fine.
Hello. One more thing. Henry Lee has done a very good job at bringing many infrastructure contracts and bringing up things that would benefit our city, and we are in a good place as far as infrastructure is concerned. Although I do have concerns about the general fund that can be used for employees' benefit packages, making the different parts of RT's people that are actually on the ground. They're all employees of Sacramento Regional Transit. They should all have access to the same benefits packages, regardless of who they are. RT Go, train, bus, they should all have at least the same benefits packages. And as far as supporting different parts of RT, things are changing, and I'm happy about that. People are listening, and I'm glad that Henry has made a extra effort to listen to his constituents. So, Henry, kudos. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public comment?
Rick Hodgkins.
So I also say kudos to and hats off to Henry. I will tell you, he is better than most of the general managers I've heard speak, particularly, Pilka Robinson. One of you remembers Pilka Robinson, and then Beverly Scott. I don't know what good Pilka Robinson did, but I will tell you that we had more bus routes under her, like the 91, that we need to bring that back to go to the Sunrise Light Rail Station, or at least do an express bus down Sunrise from perhaps Lewis and Orlando and stop at Sunrise and Antelope and all the other major stops on the way to Sunrise Light Rail Station. Under Bev Scott, we had the Folsom expansion and extension, but under Henry, I would have to say that we started the actual 2 tracks to Folsom, so Folsom residents can get service every 15 minutes. So once again, that I think Henry has been the best that there ever is and that the best there ever was. Thank you.
Great comments, thank you. Next public comment?
That's all the public comment.
All right, well, thank you. With that, we will move on to our next item.
Did you want to take a
Which is-
motion?
Yes, I am getting here. All right, yes, we have a motion, second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, next item, General Manager's Report.
Good evening, Madam Chair, the board, and public. Thank you for joining us this evening. I really want to appreciate from the bottom of my heart for all constructive, either criticism or suggestions or compliment, especially compliment. Thank you. And 2 things struck me today. One is our transition of our fair payment system and program. This is one of the most difficult, projects in the industry because there are a lot of intricacies and complexities in this process. We heard some great suggestions. We're going to make some improvements. That's one. Secondly, in terms of our TAs, zero tolerance, we're going to look into that to see how we can put balance the compassion and the enforcement accountability in a most optimal balance, and especially the shopping cart situation, we will try to find a middle point to see how we can take care of the most vulnerable seniors and others. Just want to say thank you very much. Okay. So then I want to begin by acknowledging, last Tuesday was the primary election for our region and for our state. And I want to send a warm congratulations to Sacramento board members, Maple, Jennings, Kennedy, Hume, who have all been re-elected decisively. And the margins and support was so large, and they do not need to compete in the general election in November. This is truly a testimony to the voters' trust in your strong leadership. And thank you for sitting on Sacramento board and leading this organization to a better place. Several, community members mentioned about homeless. We need to be a part of force to address the homeless situation. And I would like to thank Director Kennedy for flagging the needs of recently last week displaced residents and families of 25. And Director Kennedy immediately talked to us and support and direct us to provide passes to these 25 families and to give them passes to ensure these vulnerable residents could travel to essential medical and social service appointments. As our region's largest transit provider, we feel strongly, this entire board feels strongly about the impact we can have on our individuals' lives and how we continue to the fabric of our community as a valuable community partner. We will try to do better in the future even. That being said, the next one. Where's my slides? Thank you. Then the light rail modernization project. This is one of the largest capital projects in our history, about $1 billion investment in our region, creates thousands of jobs and bring tens or hundreds of millions dollars revenue to this region. And as part of that, we put an order about $450 million to Siemens, which is one of the largest business in this region. And Scott is here. He represents Siemens here. Thank you for the partnership. Our partnership gets stronger and stronger. And also, last December, GSAC organized a trip to Germany, and I was invited to attend to visit the headquarters of Siemens, and the Siemens leaders, top leaders, and assured us Siemens will continue to stay here and expand the business here, and that is great for this region's business and job. We are continuing important station platforms construction work along the Blue Line, and we finished the Gold Line earlier. The Blue Line right now is part of the system-wide upgrades for the new low-floor light rail vehicles. This week, June 12th through the June 14th, station upgrades will take place at Watt I-80 West and the McCartney Arcady stations. As a result, Watt I-80 West, Roseville Road, McCartney Arcady stations will be closed during this time. And from June 17th through the 20th, station work will take place at the Florin and CRC stations. And we will run shuttle buses to connect passengers between stations. And we will soon finish all station conversion project. Okay, that being said, speaking of the Blue Line, the Arden Del Paso Park and Ride lot has reopened for the public. SACRD partnered with Bridge Housing in 2023 to secure a $43 million Affordable Housing Sustainable Communities grant. The funding supports the 124-unit affordable housing complex currently under construction known as Rival, as well as funding for our light rail modernization project. We're very excited to celebrate the opening of the Rival apartments later this year. Last year alone, we applied and secured $128 million affordable housing fund from the state. And this year, we just submitted our application with $300 million. We're a little bit too aggressive because statewide only $800 million. Next, the streetcar public workshops. We have been hosting public planning workshops to share updates and get feedback on the downtown riverfront streetcar project. And we already held 2 forums, with the first one attracting more than 30 in-person attendees here. Our next workshop will be this Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the West Sacramento Community Center. Community members are invited to attend, provide comments, and learn more about projects, progress, design concepts, and the next steps. Next one, please. As you know, Sac County transitioned our microtransit program from Smart Ride to Sac Flex in January 2025, and thanks to our community partners' collaboration. With a focus on seniors, persons with disabilities, and low-income households. The transition has allowed us to better meet the needs of transit-dependent riders while saving about $8 million a year for the next 10 years. Starting Wednesday, July 1st, SAC RT Flex will expand its operating hours to better serve our community. Weekday service will begin 1 hour earlier, starting at 6 a.m. And for the first time, Sac RT Flex will offer Saturday service from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. While we are making this expansion, this largely thanks to a recent $3.76 million grants from California Public Utilities Commission Access for All program funding to support Sac RT Flex. We have an extremely strong grants management team. They are looking, scorching about like up to 50 different potential funding sources from the state and federal. And we regularly get this type of additional funding. And each year, just for example, each year, DHS, from federal perspective, they offer about $88 million annually for transit. And almost every year, we get some funding from that. That's statewide, over 10,000 transit agencies. So just want to thank the entire team, grants team, and everybody, all other departments for the great collaboration and teamwork and highly effective results. Okay, the next one, please. This is a very exciting community project funding. I really want to thank our congressional delegation for seeking community project funding in this upcoming federal appropriations process. Both Congresswoman Matsui and Congressman Barra have secured appropriation request for Sac RT in the FY27 Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development Spending Bill. $500,000 from Congresswoman Matsui for Blue Line safety improvements, $850,000 from Congressman Barra for infrastructure improvements on light rail. We are hopeful that both requests will successfully be included when the federal government enacts their FY27 budget. And on the Senate side, Senator Adam Schiff has requested $10 million for Gold Line enhancement. And we know senators, they have very limited number on their request. And in fact, Senator Schiff's request is the largest he's making statewide. And compared to Bay Area and LA, and they're much bigger than us. But really appreciate the senator for asking for $10 million for us, which is actually $2 million more than the next highest request. Yeah, that is truly amazing, and we're so grateful on that. This is a wonderful teamwork of the WTS Mural Partnership, and I encourage everybody just to go to 15th Street station to take a look at. I'm going to now to speak more about this. So I want to speak a little bit on Zip Pass, and I would like to highlight the we are still holding the active Zip Pass tickets. We are going to extend Zip Pass retirement date through the 30th of June. And I'm really, I listened to Kate's, comment about they really like that physical car. And we're going to go back to talk about that, to see how we can, there's some legacy. It may add more customer satisfaction in this process. And we previously provided additional 45 days, and we're going to provide another 30 days to ease the transition. And the new system, the payment system, is actually more smart and a more simple way to pay the fare with Transit Connect, our new mobile ticketing app. And how we'll try to see if we can find a way to keep the physical car too. Later this fall, we will launch phase 2, a feature of Transit Connect, including contactless tapped-ride validation. And we actually can use credit card, use any other, regular, like Apple Pay, just tap and ride. It will be much more convenient. And we also will have the fare capping, means every day, per day, you have the daily maximum fare. Now after that, then, I just get the update. We will have a physical car option. It's not all going to phase out entirely. We will have that option. If we don't have that option, we can add that. How about that? Add that option there.
Question on just this piece of, so what I thought I heard you say was the goal is to transfer over to tap to pay, which is a lot of transit agencies are using that, and so she's no longer in the room, but for Kate Crom's comment earlier, that can still be in line with, not necessarily needing to have your phone, because you can actually use your debit card or
you can tap
your card, a physical card that you have on you, because I've done that before in some other transit agencies, and I found it really convenient. So the goal is that.
Yeah, the goal is.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. And riders will have the ability to load cash at vending machines or participate. We have lots of participating retail locations. They can do this. And furthermore, Transit Connect is being built to support a fully integrated regional fare experience by fall this year. Means, all small operators in this whole region, they will use the same car. We help them and on this whole system, and which we really want to make sure we're a highly collaborative partner for all our partner agencies, and even though we account for about 90% ridership in this region, but we want to work with others. We want to build a more integrated, more streamlined, and more efficient and convenient regional mobility network. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for that excellent update. Any questions? Director Dickinson.
Thanks, Chair. I just wanted to, since we have a couple of light rail service interruptions with bus bridges, I just wanted to mention, and I think I mentioned this when we were talking to Henry last week, but to the staff in general, I have seen a number of comments about difficulties with the bus bridges in previous disruptions, about buses not showing up, being very late if they do show up, not stopping in places where people expect them to stop and the like. So that's obviously of concern, and I hope that with these upcoming disruptions that we'll make an extra effort to inform people of what's going to happen, first of all, during the time of the disruption, and secondly, to the extent that we can monitor as closely as we can performance to make sure that whatever we're representing will occur in terms of service actually does take place. Thanks.
Yes, we're going to, tomorrow morning, we're going to immediately get some new improvement plan together for the next phase, this type of bus bridges. And the good thing is we're going to finish very soon.
Any other questions from directors? Seeing none, public comment?
Helen O'Connell?
Thank you very much, Henry Lee, for that detailed general manager's report. Even though last month we didn't have one. This one makes up for it. I too am concerned about the bus bridges. They seem to pull buses off of regular routes. And especially 15-minute buses. I live on the 51 line. One day I went to catch a bus. It did not show up. I checked the cancellation list. There were 27 cancellations on that one bus line. Consequently, there were 3 cancellations in a row. When I waited for the 4th bus that was going to run, I could not get on because the ADA area was full. My bus stop is in the middle of the route. The only way to make sure that I could have gotten on was to be at the beginning of the route on either end. This created a problem because that day it was 98 degrees and I am heat sensitive. If I would have known that there were 26 cancellations that one day, I would have chosen a different route. Unfortunately, that day there was no existing route that I could have chosen. I had to use some connections to get to where I was going to make sure that I could get where I needed to go and get back home. But not everyone has those connections. Please be more consistent and not drag all the buses off of the 15-minute rides when they turn out to be 1 hour or 2 hours. Thank you.
Next public comment?
There's no more public comment.
All right, are there any follow-up questions or comments? Looking to the right, looking to the left, seeing none. We'll move on to our next item.
Okay, item 8, reports, ideas, and questions from directors and communication. We have 8.1, Sacramento Placerville Transportation Corridor Joint Powers Authority meeting summary from May 11th, 2026, and there's no public comment on that item.
Okay, next item.
Item 8.2, there is a correction needed on the date. It should be March 15th of 2026. And 8.2, San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority meeting summary. And there's no public comment on that item.
Next item, 8.3.
8.3, Mobility Advisory Council meeting summary, May 21st, 2026. And I do have one public comment on that.
All right, let's take that.
L.R. Roberts.
I'm a decades-long member of Dogfight. Recently, I had to leave my Jeep at Costco on Expo. I try to only use union places. I had to walk with my very unsteady legs 8 blocks to catch a bus. This is unacceptable for the Costco, several small businesses, an apartment complex, a senior apartment complex, a mental health facility, a med clinic, a storage place, and a hotel. In addition, now you know on the other side of 160 is several new apartments. So the fact that there's no bus there seems really odd. I was pleased that my ancient Connect card still worked because there's money on it. So I don't know what's going to happen if you get rid of my Connect card.
and it only charged me $1.50, I guess, because I'm old. The driver was wonderful. What a great guy. I had to go to the Golden one on Sutterville and then home. I had long waits for buses in between and long walks from one to the other. So, you know, other than the bus driver being wonderful, there's lots of places where it's hard to get.
Thank you. Any more public comment?
No more public comment.
All right. That takes us to our announcement of closed session items.
Item 12.1, conference with legal counsel pursuant to Cal Government Code Section 54956.9 D1, existing litigation. Sarkisian Murphy et al. Versus Sacramento Regional Transit District, case number 24 CV 004763. And there's no public comment on that item.
All right, then I will say that the announcement is there will be no report out from closed session. The closed session will be held in this room. If all attendees could please exit the room after the meeting is adjourned. And the next Sacramento Regional Transit Board meeting is scheduled for July 27th, 2026 at 4 p.m. With that, we will adjourn this meeting.